adoption for the agenda. Moved by Linda Lydia, can I get a second, please?
And I'll second.
Second by Howard Benny. May I have any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, by unanimous decision, agenda will be adopted as presented. We will now receive the treasurer's report by our treasurer, Madam Katrinka Pouncey.
Good evening, all. This is the NAACP Treasurer Report for the month of June. We had a starting balance on June the 1st of $49,393.59. For the month of June, we had an income of $691.70, and that basically consists of incoming memberships and membership funds from national. For the month of June, we also had withdrawals for memberships paid to grant the batches to the nationals as well as for the branch phone. Expenses were in the amount of $309.30. There were no expenses or income into our restricted funds for the month. The ending balance on the bank account was $49,775.99. And our PayPal balance at the end of the month was $96.02, which was basically made up of one Silver Life membership payment that was received. So our total cash on hand at the end of June was $49,872.01. And Madam President, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on the report? Hearing none, now ready for the vote. All of those, may I please have a motion for the acceptance of the treasurer's report pending audit?
So moved.
So moved by Bill, second by Linda. Thank you very much. All of those in favor, if you will so indicate with an eye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll receive our membership appeal by our membership chair, Madam Lisa Lucas. Thank you, Dr. Middlebrooks. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
As you know, our membership, we don't ask for a lot here at the NAACP. Yearly, for adults, it's only $30 to get started a year. And if you want to start that lifetime membership, it's only, the first lifetime membership is only $1,000. But guess what? We have a great layaway plan, $100 a year for 10 years. Walmart is not better than that. Come on now. So we give you a long time to take care of your membership, but most people pay that lifetime membership out within a year. So it's however you want to pay it. I'll be back there in the back. Come see me. We also have committee positions available. Anybody want to join our Religious Affairs Committee? Mr. Al Green is looking for some help. What about our Housing Committee? Ben Brown is here tonight. He's our chair. He's always looking for someone to help him out. And I definitely need somebody to help me in membership. I have to go out and visit all the local churches here all the time. And I can't miss every Sunday from my church. Dr. Brown gets upset about that. So we're trying to have enough people on the membership committee to where we can split. Somebody go here this Sunday, somebody go over here this Sunday. So if anybody is interested, come back there and see me. You don't have to do a whole lot. Just talk to them about why you should join, the importance of the NAACP. And I think I see a hand back here. You can definitely come over there and see me in just a little bit.
Education Committee.
Education. Mr. Bill needs some help in the education department.
Yeah.
We need so much committee help, you guys. It's only a few of us just carrying this load. We had to do voter registration the other day. Man, it was hot out there. So we need some people to come in and start helping us. So some people can come for a couple of hours, others can come for a couple of hours. So we need a lot of help. But you definitely want to try and get your kiddos to sign up. It's only $10 a year to sign your kids up. $10 for a whole year. Guess what? They'll get an opportunity to train with someone like Sister Linda Lydia, our chairperson for the youth department. They learn all type of leadership skills. I'm telling you, it is worth it to get your kids involved. And one thing that the NAACP is doing, once you join, get your kids to join, they take on a leadership role, say in high school, in college. 9 times out of 10, if you have a student loan, the NAACP will help you wipe that student loan out. It is worth it to join the NAACP and get your young kids involved. You can learn all about the civil rights movement. So if anybody has any questions, please come back there and see me tonight. I want to get you signed up. Any questions? Thank you. Thank you, Madam Leaker. There being no old business, Madam Secretary, if you would. Everyone received the minutes? Did everyone receive the minutes in an email, all members?
Yes.
Yes. Were there any corrections, noted corrections needed, any changes? Then I'd like to entertain a motion for the acceptance of the Secretary's minutes, please.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. C.W. Whitaker. Second. Okay, by Melody Graves. Thank you, Melody Davis. Okay. At this time, our new business, we're up to the new business. And on our new business is GOTV. 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 Not black and white TV, not color TV, but it's GOTV. Can someone tell me what the G and the OTV stands for? Say what? I need y'all to say it like you know it. All right. We're in that season. We cannot wait till November to start working on getting out the vote. The time is here and the time is now. So you will be receiving some information in your email with reference to the GOTV. That was the first notification. The second is that of the branch election process, which begins in August, and that's during the time that the branch selects its judge that will oversee the voting process. That's the very first thing we will do. And then September, as we ascend upward hill, I guess you would say, then we begin to notify the membership. Then we begin to accept the nominees. And then after we have the nominees, then there will be a interviewing process for the applicants. And in November, that's when we vote. And then we'll know who the president, the VPs are, treasurer, and secretary. So just stay tuned to your email so that you can know when that process begins, because we would like for you as members to be engaged. Now, this brings me up to a happy moment. Not that all of them are happy. Any day that I'm going to go around, I'm a happy day. But on this day, it brings me joy and great joy to ask a young lady to join me here at the podium. This is the day wherein I have the opportunity to present a Silver Life plaque to one of our newest Silver Life members. So at this time, if you would please help me bring up Miss Casey Fuller to receive her Silver Life membership.
All right.
No, Miss Casey. And you can. I'm gonna take that.
This plaque is presented by, or on behalf of the National NAACP. And once you complete your civil life payment, whether that's a one-time or as Madam Chair says, whether you decide to put it in the layaway, come back for it another day. But as long as you pay for it in full, you too can receive a silver life membership. And that's the beginning of a life membership, is at the silver life level. You can go upward to the gold, the bronze, and the platinum, but we all begin at the silver life. So it gives me great joy to present this plaque on behalf of the National NAACP to Ms. Casey Fuller. And it reads, Certificate of Silver Life Membership. This certifies that Casey M. Fuller is a life member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, testifying forever to our faith in the future of all Americans in the United States and in the principles of equality and justice in the American Constitution. In witness whereof, the Board of Directors has caused this certificate to be issued May 2026, signed by Derek Johnson, President, Leon Russell as the Chairman of the Board, and Ophelia Avery as the National Membership Chair. So I present this certificate to Ms. Casey Fuller.
All right.
And she receives a pen. So when you get, put your pen on, you see, for all to see. This is small. I mean, it's so secure in the bag, and then I put it this way. You know what? This one goes, it goes in your shirt, you know, and I don't want to mess up your blouse. So I'm going to give it to you for you to have. I'm going to give you mine that you can just, so you don't mess up your, that is your left side, okay? There you go. Congratulations, Casey. Thank you. Now, it requires more than just receiving a Silver Life membership. You know, we require some work ethics around here. We need all the workers we can get, so we look forward to that. Thank you. You want your box? Oh, is it good? Now turn your certificate around so we can see it. And tell them about your business while you're here. Because she's really been working with some nonprofits and doing some good things in the community. So I'd like you to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about your business. Let me just say it like that.
Okay, so I own a med spa in Frisco, Texas called Poetry Med Spa. And with that we have a nonprofit foundation with the Cancer Survivor Wellness Program. So the cancer survivors can apply to the foundation and get treatments at the med spa for a little bit of cost. And the nonprofit foundation works with hospitals and children to raise money for their treatments as well.
Okay. Thank you, Fuller. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, next item on the agenda. I can keep smiling because at this time, it's time for the introduction of our speaker for this evening. And our speaker, Mr. Ahmad Goree, currently serves as the Chief of Staff to Dallas City Manager Kimberly Bizor-Tolbert. In this role, he works closely with the City Manager to advance City Council priorities and promote collaboration across the executive leadership team. Ahmad oversees engagement with internal and external stakeholders and provides executive leadership for a portfolio of departments, including the Office of Communication and Customer Experience, which is 311. The Office of Government Affairs and the Mayor and City Council Office, representing a combined budget of $18.6 million and more than 230 employees. Prior to joining the City of Dallas, Ahmad served as Assistant Director of Program Management and Communications in the Office of Field Operations at the U.S. Small Business Admin, SBA, based in the Dallas-Fort Worth District. In this national role, he advised the SBA administrator, a cabinet-level officer, or cabinet-level official, deputy administrator, and senior agency leaders on field operations, performance management, risk mitigation, and external partnerships. Ahmad led nationwide engagement efforts with elected officials, organizations, educational institutions, and government entities, strengthening the SBA's brand visibility and expanding its outreach and impact. He also collaborated with SBA program offices to align messaging and enhance agency-wide communications. Ahmad has been recognized as a Dallas Business Journal and Fort Worth Business Press 40 Under 40 honoree, and as the Dallas Black Chamber's A. Macy L. Smith Emerging Leader. My congratulations are late, but congratulations. Ahmad holds a bachelor's degree in history from Jarvis Christian College, JCC, whoop whoop, okay, and a Master of Liberal Arts in Political Science from Dallas Baptist University. He is currently pursuing a PhD, okay, in urban planning and public policy at the University of Texas at Arlington. He is a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Where my Omegas at? No, just kidding. Incorporated, and the International City County Management Association, known as CMA. At this time, please help me bring up our evening speaker, Mr. Chief of Staff, Ahmad Goree.
Well, thank you, Dr. Middlebrook. She keeps me on my toes at City Hall, so I really appreciate your engagement and all that you do for the Dallas community. I really appreciate it. I'm really here to listen to you all. I know you've probably heard a lot of things in the news about what's going on in the city of Dallas, particularly at City Hall, so I am here to answer your questions, hear your concerns, as a representative of our great city manager who has a lot of energy, who is tackling tough conversations, advancing very instrumental priorities across the city. I am here on her behalf to listen to you and be that voice from you to her, as well as our city council. But just to give you a little background, so Dr. Middlebrook talked a little bit about myself, but I'm born and raised here in the city of Dallas. I grew up in Pleasant Grove, went to H. Grady Spruce High School, so Dallas is my home. I know it like the palm of my hand, so I am definitely interested in how the city grows. Both of my parents were public servants of the city of Dallas as well. My dad was a firefighter for the Dallas Fire Department. My mom worked for the Dallas Housing Authority for more than 30 years. So public service here in Dallas is near and dear to my family's heart. So I am here to help you make sure our city and our communities thrive. Just to give you a little background, I don't know how much of you all know about the structure of the city of Dallas. Does everybody know how the city of Dallas is structured, our form of government, and how that operates? Good. So somebody said no, so it gives some confidence. So I was also a professor of government, so I like to talk about how our form of government operates, because a lot of people really don't know the exact way that the government of our city is formulated and who has the responsibility of what. So Dallas falls in line with just about every other city across the state of Texas, except the city of Houston. So the city of Dallas is under a council-manager form of government. The city of Houston is a strong mayor form of government. So in a council-manager form of government, the city council, which is here in Dallas, where there's 15 members of the city council, including the mayor, that body represents like the board of directors for the city. So that board of directors, which is the city council, hires a CEO, a chief executive officer, which in this case is the city manager. And then the city manager hires her executive leadership team, her C-level executives. So that is the assistant city managers that oversee a portfolio of departments as well, the chief financial officer, the chief of public safety that oversees our police, fire, emergency management, courts system, the chief of staff, and then we have a new executive team member that's our chief of real estate. So as you know, Dallas has about 500 different facilities across the city. So a lot of our police stations, all of our fire stations, all of our park and rec facilities. So we have a large portfolio of real estate across the city of Dallas. So that's the executive leadership team. So as the city manager, she hires and fires top city officials. That includes the police chief, the fire chief, and other department heads. So a major responsibility of the city manager is developing the city's budget. So that's what we are in right now, is budget development phase. So the city manager looks at how our expenses are happening across the city, but also taking a look at our revenues, how much of our revenues come in for the city. Do anybody know the two funding sources of how the city is funded? Anybody know that? Except Lynn. So the way the city, go ahead. Absolutely, taxes. So there's two buckets of tax dollars that fund the general operating budget of the city. The first is property taxes. So your property taxes, or anybody who owns property, a part of that is paying taxes to fund our general fund services. So as you know, there's various caps on property taxes in the state of Texas. There's a 3.5% cap on property taxes in Texas. And as the legislature convenes next year, there's already talks about capping it even more. So that is one bucket of funding of how we fund city services. Your streets, your road, your public safety, your animal services, just about any and everything is funded out of general funds. And part of that bucket comes from property taxes. So the less property taxes we receive, the less money goes into the general fund to fund your city services. The other bucket of funding that is funded by general fund is sales tax dollars. So every time you go purchase something, or anyone purchases something in the city of Dallas, that sales tax dollars comes back to us. However, as you know, the sales tax rate in the state of Texas is 8.25%. So 6.25% of that goes back to the state of Texas. So 2% of that comes back to the city of Dallas. So every time you hear about all these great numbers, of course we want our FIFA numbers to come back great, but all that money is not coming back to the city of Dallas, even though it's spent in the city of Dallas. So only 2% of that comes back to the city of Dallas. However, the city manager gives 1% of that 2% to Dark, and that was voter approval. So only 1% of those sales tax dollars comes back to the general fund for us to fund city services. And as you know, the economy is not performing the way we want to perform, so sales tax is also down as we're speaking. And that goes to funding city services. So that goes back to the conversation of the budget development. So we're looking at the budget, although our sales tax numbers are down, property taxes are experiencing caps, so we're making tough decisions. The city manager is making tough decisions on how she's going to balance the budget for the next fiscal year. So going back to that property tax bucket, you remember that property tax bucket I talked about? So 100% of the property tax bucket that she used goes solely for public safety. As you know, there was a proposition that was passed that required the city manager to hire a certain amount of police officers. Not only that, make sure that the pension obligation was taken care of for police officers and firefighters, but also pay. So she is required under that proposition to use that money out of their general funds to address those public safety directives from the voters. So that's how we take into the budget into account. So you may be hearing about on the news how we implemented a hiring freeze. The city manager implemented a hiring freeze back in April because sales tax projections were not leading up to what we thought they would. So the city manager had to make immediate decisions to make sure that we are able to still have a balanced budget by the end of the fiscal year. So we implemented that. And this is not just a Dallas issue. This is an issue that municipalities are facing all across the country. Fort Worth implemented their hiring freeze in February. We implemented our hiring freeze in April. So fast forward, sales tax dollars still didn't meet the expectations. However, our operations spending and our operational needs increased. So the city manager decided to implement a last resort, which is a furlough. So if you look back at the years before, furloughs were very deep when it came to who was affected. So years prior, police officers, uniform officials were part of the furloughs, which included police officers, firefighters, but also city employees, also as well as police officers, took pay cuts. During this furlough, the city manager went against the directive of her executive leadership team, which was 7 furlough days for employees, excluding police and fires. So she said there's no way I can do 7, so she did 3 for non-uniform employees. So firefighters, police officers, 911, sanitation, convention and event services, Dallas water utilities are all exempt from this furlough. So just to give you a perspective of how these budget pressures are putting pressure on the way that we operate city services. So I just know that was a key topic in the last few weeks of the news that you may have heard of. So I just wanted to touch on that. The other thing that you may be hearing about is the state of City Hall. So that's a major debate that's going on what do we do with the current City Hall building. So as you know, the building was built back in the 1970s. However, the building was not kept up throughout those years. And as a result of that, we are here today on the different aging systems that are in the building. So the building's concrete. We would never be able to have modern Wi-Fi, for instance, because of the way the building is. There's different issues with the building. So we did different studies that the council charged the city manager to do. First of all, I'm gonna back up. So the mayor charged the finance committee, his finance committee, in August to look at all city facilities, including City Hall. So that was a charge by the mayor. So after that, the city council's finance committee met and charged the city manager to do studies and hire third-party consultants on evaluating the state of City Hall. So we had got those numbers back. The final numbers were presented in June, which was about $600 million just to patch up City Hall. So the conversation has been, do we invest that money, $600 million, into this building, or do we look at alternative solutions for another City Hall? Remember those budget pressures that I talked about. So there's not a separate bucket to repair City Hall. That money will have to come from the general fund that we talked about, where that's funding police fire, that's funding streets, that's funding Dallas Animal Services, that's funding code compliance. So that money, if the council had decided to repair City Hall, that money would have to come from those buckets. So what happens to city services when you bring in another expense like that? You have to make adjustments. So you have to pull the money from something. So the city council decided in June not to go with a repair program on City Hall. So they charged the city manager to go out and look at different options that could be potential new city halls that she's going to come back and present back in August on what that would look like and what that cost would look like to see what the savings will be, what the side-by-side comparison will be as well. So they also gave her the authority to do the exact same thing with our 911 center and our emergency operations. So when we look at trends all across the country, 911 centers and emergency operations centers are not at their city halls. We're one of the only cities in the country that has a 911 center in the basement and emergency operations in the basement. Typically, those functions are separated. In other type of buildings, just in case there's an emergency, just in case there's an infiltrations that happens at the City Hall. So those functions, as a national trend and as a national best practice, are typically located away from City Hall. So they gave her the authority to also look at what a new potential 911 and emergency operations center would look like if it was outside of City Hall. So we'll bring that information back in August for the City Council to consider and make a decision on if that's something that they want to do. If they want to move a 911 EOC to a different location, what that location would look like, as well as a City Hall. All right, so I know that was a hot topic. Other hot topics is the convention center. That is about a $3 billion project to develop a new convention center, the K. Betty Hutchinson Convention Center. So that's underway. I know there's been talks about the viaducts and situations like that. So no bridges will be taken away. There will be some redirection and detours during the construction phase, but no bridges will be eliminated. Absolutely. I know there's a lot of misinformation going out there, so we just want to make sure that you have the factual information. So as you're going back into your communities, you can have the information correctly shared as it relates to some of these topics. Let's see what else we have going on. We have so the police academy. You're going to have a part of the public safety training facility right here in your backyard at Dallas Executive Airport. Thank you, Lynn, for all your work that you're doing to help us get the funding to secure a state-of-the-art police academy. So that includes, helps out with our recruitment numbers. As you know, we are required to hire a certain amount of police officers through the proposition. So having a state-of-the-art police academy definitely plays a major role in how we recruit talent to join our police department. So the other phase, which would be our classroom phases, so the Dallas Executive Airport will be more of our range facility, where our driving course will be, where the police officers will be driving their police vehicles and learning how to drive the different course mechanisms. And then the classroom portion will be a partnership between the City of Dallas and the University of North Texas at Dallas, so at the UNT Dallas campus. Let's see, what other major projects we have going on. So we also have Fair Park. You know, we're doing a lot of great things at Fair Park. That's an icon of the City of Dallas, so we want to make sure that we are continually investing into Fair Park. If Dallas wants to continue to be a vibrant city, if we continually want to grow, we have to invest into icons like Fair Park. And quite frankly, we have to invest in Southern Dallas. This is where all the developable land is, and we have to do what we can to make sure we're making adequate investment in Southern Dallas. When you look at the region, Dallas is at 1.3 million citizens. We're the 9th largest city in the country. Do anybody know what the 10th largest city in the country is? Fort Worth is the 10th largest city in the country. We're 9. Fort Worth is at 1 million citizens. Again, we are at 1.3 million citizens. So if we don't develop south, where all of our developable land is, Dallas will become a suburb of Fort Worth. So we have to make sure we are investing into Southern Dallas. Fort Worth is knocking on our doors when it comes to a top position in the state and as well as in the country. So we're doing a lot of investment in Fair Park. As you know, the Black Academy of Arts and Letters is temporarily located there at the Women's Museum. We get a significant investment for them to move there and get comfortable. We have Athletico, which is our soccer team that's going to be located in their headquarters at Fair Park. We just did a major renovation to the stadium, the Cotton Bowl. So if you haven't been there, go check out their renovation. We have some the state fair coming up. So with that, we have our 2 major college football games, the Grambling and Prairie View State Fair Classic, as well as the Texas OU football games. So we'll definitely take a look at that. We're also investing into our parks, our other parks. So as you know, Hartman Park opened up this summer. The mayor contributed $1 million of his discretionary funds for that. We are continuing to invest into something called Y'all Street. Has anybody heard of Y'all Street, that terminology? Yeah, so Y'all Street is like Wall Street, for instance. So we are attracting financial corporations to come to Dallas, so Dallas could be the next top financial hub of the United States. So we have already attracted the Texas Stock Exchange, NAACP, Scotiabank, JP Morgan Chase, and some others that are on the horizon that I can't talk about now, but Y'all Street is real. We are bringing companies to Dallas to invest in Dallas to create jobs, but most importantly, create that tax revenue that we need to support our city services that you use on a day in and day out basis. We are also focusing in on our unsheltered population. We are partnering with our nonprofits across the city to make sure that we are addressing our unsheltered populations that we have here. As a result, we have partnered with the Communities Foundation that has committed $50 million to our Street to Home program, where we are moving individuals from street to actual apartments, where we're paying their rents, we're giving them the needed supplies that they need to have adequate living arrangements, but most importantly, having their own place to stay from being on the streets into an actual home. Downtown, you know, we've heard of some different things about companies leaving, but companies are also coming to Dallas. We are continuously engaging with companies all across the country to bring them to Dallas, and we have some in the works that we can't talk about now, but we're definitely on the horizon to make sure that we're keeping downtown vibrant. The other big topic is the Mavs, the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks announced that they signed an option agreement, and I'm going to highlight option agreement because that is an option and nothing's set in stone and nothing's in paper until it's actually finalized and the ink is on the paper. So they signed an option agreement for Valley View, but again, that's an option. We also know that the Stars have done something similar, and again, nothing's final, to me at least, until the writing, the signature is waiting on the paper. See, I'm trying to make sure I cover everything here. We're doing major renovation at Dallas Love Field. So our LEAP program, our Love Field expansion airport program, we're investing about $2 billion to bring new concessions to the airport, runway, parking, air traffic control tower. So we're going to make Love Field a state-of-the-art airport, just like DFW Airport right here in the city limits that you have access to. I think that is about it on the different top priorities that the city manager is focusing on. But again, I just wanted to give you a synopsis of what we have going on. A lot of people just think it's the City Hall debate. A lot of people just think it's the Mavs debate. But no, we are tackling issues day in and day out that are major issues that are positioning Dallas for success for decades to come. The city manager's motto is targeted economic growth, and that's what we're bringing to the city of Dallas, to make sure that we're bringing in targeted economic growth over the years, to make sure that you have the revenue that generates our operation fund to give you the city services that you deserve as citizens and residents of the city of Dallas. And with that, Dr. Miller-Brook, I hope that was helpful, and I'll take any questions, sure. I'll try to answer the questions.
Okay. First of all, thank you for providing clarity on the City Hall.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
I know I have some relatives that live in Dallas, and they were, and now I'm gonna go back and share information about why the possible rebuild, because it's so iconic and they're just so in love with it, but you provided some insight on that as well as Maverick. So I know you had talked about property taxes were being capped, and I just wanna make sure I get a good understanding of that. Is there talks about potentially increasing the property taxes in the city of Dallas?
No, so that's one thing that you can applaud the city manager and the council is under the city managers, Kimberly Tolbert's tenure, we have not increased property taxes. And that's nothing that we are even discussing as we develop this budget.
Okay. And regarding the Fair Park, so I know they just reopened the old Mill restaurant, which is pretty cool. So are they, I know a lot of cities, they have the Ferris wheel going, all year round. Have they thought about, since, we don't want to become a suburb of Fort Worth, but, with what you guys are planning on doing, I was just thinking about that because a lot of cities have a Ferris wheel, and then sometimes they have little shops and restaurants opening in the Fairport. Are they considering something like that for the Fairport?
Yeah, that's a great question. As we look at advancing Fair Park in Southern Dallas, we do have to find ways to activate Fair Park on a yearly basis. on a yearly, not just a state fair. We do have to find a way to activate that. And yes, there are conversations with different plans on how to activate Bear Park throughout the year. Absolutely. Great question. Yes, sir.
I know there's been a lot of criticism of Kim Clover.
Yes, sir.
But what you said earlier, Austin is having problems,
Yes, sir.
Houston is having major problems. I think if we publicize it, it's not a Dallas thing, it's not a Kim Clover thing, this is all over. So the people that keep blaming her and saying she doesn't know what she's doing, seem like they're not understanding the big picture. It's not a Dallas problem. Real estate, same way people say in real estate, the prices in Dallas are they're going high everywhere. It's not a Dallas problem. It's not a Dallas suburb problem. It's everywhere. And I think if we made people more aware of what's going on all over, they won't be so narrow-minded to say that she needs to go. She doesn't know what she's doing, this and that. It's not her. It's the climate that she's having. Other thing I was asking, as far as Dart goes, who set the 1% that goes to Dart?
Yeah, the voters approved that back in, I don't know the exact, I think it was back in the 70s, 80s, there was a voter approval to give 1% of our sales tax revenue to Dart.
Oh,
Yeah, so other participating cities do a similar contribution. So you remember all those conversations about withdrawing of DART that happened this year? So a lot of that conversation was about that contribution that cities give to DART. Yes. But yeah, and I agree with you. I think that we need to definitely be more proactive when we're communicating on not this being a city of Dallas issue, but more so of a economic issue across municipalities across the state and the country. So we are actually getting the city manager out more to talk about her role and how the city is operated, what direction we're going, talking more about these priorities. But yeah, it will be helpful if you all too could be surrogates of that message and let individuals know that, hey, this is not just a city of Dallas concern. This is a concern that's affecting our neighbors like Fort Worth. Yes, sir.
Within the last day, I read an article that really talked about the expense of repairing City Hall where it is. And it basically talked about expenses that are far lower than the ones we've been told online and talking about, to where it would be much more efficient to fix the City Hall where it is and not go moving into a strange building. Have y'all heard anything more about that, or how is that going?
There's different articles, there's different analysis that are circulating out there. However, the city manager did exactly what she was directed to do by the city council, which was to hire independent consultants, independent professionals to assess the building and assess the repair costs. And that's what we presented to the council. And the council as a body decided in June not to pursue those repairs and to look at the alternative options.
Some questions for you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Actually, I got three.
Sure.
So it's been all over the news, we're no strangers, but what is the city doing to tackle the deficit that is currently in?
Yeah,
The
so.
effects that it's having on, county, jobs, everything.
Yeah. So it's a real thing. So I think that we have to, again, go back to that attraction of businesses and corporations to move to Dallas. We're launching a campaign we have launched a campaign called the Spend It in Dallas campaign. We're encouraging citizens to spend their money in Dallas, encouraging visitors to spend their money in Dallas. Again, when they do that, a part of that sales tax dollars comes back to our general fund. In general fund, just to give you a synopsis, 73% of the general fund is representative of people. So those are bodies. So it's not the services, 73% of the general fund is actually people. We're launching that campaign to try to encourage people to spend more. But most importantly is we have to attract companies to come to Dallas to create jobs. We have to do more with the convention center when we start looking at that revenue that's going to start coming in. Right now, we already have 59 bookings on day one, and the convention center we're not even fully torn it down yet. So I think opportunities like that will help us generate that revenue to help us with some of the deficits and the issues that we're seeing as it relates to the economy and how our general fund is funded.
And I had a question for, so District 4's personal to me is dear to my heart because it's South.
What was it again? You said?
District 4.
District 4, okay.
So you
Councilmember
talked about
Gracie.
how the city is pouring into parks. You go into District 4, kids don't even have goals, basketball goals. I know Maxie Johnson's doing a good job of trying to spread the word of trying to go into the community where we have, abandoned buildings where the grass hasn't been cut, or you go into these parks where the kids are near and dear to me. So where you go into these parks and the kids don't even have a suitable basketball goal where they can go and play to try to, keep them out of trouble and different things. So what is the city doing to go into these areas, look at the areas and see what they can do to help these kids? Because going to basketball, like they just had one the other day, you just have one goal and the kids are all standing around saying, we can't play full court. So what can we do? They go and get into other things. So pouring into these big parks, I understand. But what about the local areas in our city? We go in and look at our own communities and say, let me pour into these areas and rebuild them.
Yeah, absolutely. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Johnson is very passionate about his district. Actually, right now, council is on vacation for the month of July, but as you see, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Johnson is out in his district and tackling some of those key issues, so we appreciate him and all the work that he's doing. But yeah, I think that's a real conversation. It goes back to those budget pressures that we talked about on how we prioritize city funding. When we did a community survey recently, the top priorities for infrastructure, public safety, were those top priorities that the citizens, said that's what they want to see funded first. I think we have to work with some of our private entities and corporations to make sure that we have these partnerships in place. So when there's gaps in our general fund budget to help fund some of these key community needs, we'll depend on some of our community-facing organizations, corporations to step in and help us out in those areas as well. I know Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Johnson is pushing for that, and we're working and doing everything we can to do that as well. But I think that's also very key on how we create these partnerships with our private sector entities to bring in that gap funding where it's needed.
Now, last question is around dark. I know we give them 1%, but I live in South Dallas, and we've seen where the bus lines have decreased, right? We're no longer taking them, busing them out to the Frisco's to get the jobs, to go work. We've seen the articles where people saying, well, I can't get to work because there's no bus line going that way. What is the city doing to address those concerns for citizens? We gotta look at the population, right? And most of the time, you need those bus lines in those southern sectors of Dallas where we can get people off to work. Is the city planning on addressing those, bringing those bus lines back? Because it is affecting the community, because you talk about it.
Absolutely. We know that transportation needs is a major factor in helping our citizens get to their everyday life priorities. If it's job, if it's appointments, we know that that's key. So we are working on the streetcar alignment program. So that streetcar alignment program will have connectivity from South Dallas to downtown, to Bishop Arts, to those various sectors of Dallas, making those connections where we may not have the needs of other public transportation access. So that streetcar alignment program will be key in closing that gap. So thank you for bringing that up. I forgot to mention that part in my notes, but yes, that was on there.
Those are the I had. Those are the things.
Oh, perfect. Great questions. There were some questions over here.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Madam Leader was first, Chris, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
You mentioned that you had a real estate director. Could you share that person's name with us?
Yeah. So we have a chief of real estate. So that's a member of the executive leadership team. His name is John Johnson. He's the former director of the Office of Facilities and Real Estate. So when we just did a realignment, so he now is an executive level person that solely focuses on the city's real estate. So John Johnson. If you need to get his contact information, let me know. But it's john.johnson@dallas.gov.
John.johnson@dallas.gov.
Yep.
Second part, have you ever had the appraisal done on the city,
Great
the
question.
building,
On which building?
the one that you're in now?
I'm not sure. I need to check that.
And when, well, I guess if you're gonna select somebody to help facilitate the sale of that building, is there a big process that you go through when selecting a company? I know most of the people here, they like to use the big companies like the JLL. So that was my question. Will it be sent out on your website? If there's gonna be a bid for it, how would that process go?
Yeah, that process already happened. CBRE is the third-party consultant that's helping with that process.
Was there a bid, I mean, was it sent out?
It was sent out, yeah, so I think it was sent out through the Economic Development Corporation, but I'll get with Dr. Middlebrooks and get the exact information.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Chris?
Isn't it true that the SBA just upped its limits to $5 million in funding to small business?
Okay, so you're taking me back to the SBA days that we see here. So I haven't been with the SBA in almost over a year, so I'm not too sure what they changed. But I do know that, you know, SBA has a guaranteed loan program where they guarantee up to 75% of whatever the loan amount is. Is that what you're asking?
No, I seen the tabloid recently.
Okay.
They upped the limit. I think the president signed up like an order the first of last month.
Gotcha.
To increase the limit of small businesses.
Probably so. I think I have a few connections to the SBA I can get you connected with.
And then another one is, what type of businesses in the city of Dallas are the city looking for to help create jobs and kind of help the infrastructure in the city of Dallas?
Yeah, I think we're open. I mean, there's various incentives that we give businesses to locate to certain areas to create a certain amount of jobs. I think that conversation's a good conversation with our economic development team may be beneficial if that's something that you're interested in learning more about. We definitely set that up.
Oh, definitely, yeah, before we leave.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if you have a product or service that you can provide, you know, our procurement team is really good with that. So we have a bid process that allows you to get your contracting opportunities with different things that we provide throughout the city, like janitorial services, you know, for instance. So we have that process as well. We'll get you connected with ECO and also our procurement team. I think right here. Yes.
I have a quick question. So I understand that federal and city employees, they operate differently, but I'm asking this since we're speaking about improving Dallas infrastructure. So I work, federal employee, I work at the Santa Fe and the federal building downtown Dallas. Is that part of the plan improvement infrastructure, or is that a federal, would that be a federal area for that?
Oh, yeah, so you say Earl Campbell Federal Building? Yeah, that's a federal facility. So, yeah, they have their own General Services Administration. GSA is like their real estate agency. That's their real estate company that they use. So they're the ones that make those investments and improvements to those federal facilities. Great question. I'm going to take one more.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
The Peace Park Youth Tennis Program was up to be privatized. We sent a lot of max to different people, but we're really concerned about that because it's a very successful youth tennis program, probably more successful than any others in the Dallas Police Department. So if y'all could make sure that doesn't get privatized, it would be most appreciated.
No, I appreciate that. As a person who grew up playing tennis all through high school and college, I definitely know the impact of that sport. So we worked with the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem to make sure that that was separated from the rest of the procurements, to go back out and relook at how this particular center is going to be served. So we appreciate all the advocacy, all the people that came and spoke. But yeah, we are constantly paying attention and working with the Parks and Recreations Department on that to make sure that, you know, we have the right opportunities there at that center. So thank you for bringing that up. Well, thank you all for this. I thought it was very engaging. I really appreciate all the questions. And, my email address is Ahmad, AHMAD, .Goree, GOREE @dallas.gov. Always feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, you have any concerns, you see anything in your neighborhood that you want to see addressed, you see a stray dog, stray cat, you see some infrastructure issues, you see a stoplight out, any of that, feel free to reach out to me and I'll make sure. Yeah, you saw a stray dog, stray cat somewhere?
No.
Okay.
No, my question is, how do they determine what alley and what neighborhood they're gonna fix?
How you determine how to fix it?
No, not how to fix it. In my neighborhood, there's decent alleys and
Okay.
streets, but my alley has been needing repair for over 30 years.
Okay.
And we still
Send
haven't
that
got
to me.
it.
Send that to me. We'll definitely take a look at that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we probably just didn't know or anything like that. I
Oh,
don't
they
know.
know. 'Cause
Okay, well, if they know, then that's another story. Yeah, definitely send that to me then if they know. All right. Sure, absolutely. Ahmad.Goree at dallas.gov. So it's AHMAD as in David. Goree, G as in George, OREE. That's an F word at dallas.gov. Awesome.
That ain't Dallas City House.
Hey, Queen of Joppy.
So once again, let's give it up for Mr. Goree. As it relates to send him an email and he'll get on top of it. I'm speaking from firsthand experience and I know that there are others in here that will attest to the same thing. He's like an open door policy he has. And it's amazing how he do all the things that he does because working at that city at this time but he managed to do it. And you know what? He does it with such grace. Like nothing seems to fail him. And once again, let's give it up for Lynn McPhee that's really been raising funds for our first responders, okay? Lynn, you want to stand up and let them know who you stand up?
Ahmad covered it all. We did ranking audit funds for a law enforcement training center and criminal justice program in East Dallas. And so the goal will be kids that are coming out of Carter High School can take that and go on and get their bachelor's in criminal justice. That's where we put all the cadets. And this is Ahmad said we have a mandate. We have to now train up to 4,000 officers. And so we literally don't have the space. We don't have the facilities. And so myself, Tanel Atkins, and then Georgia saw that day to raise private money to go with some couple of funds that we already have to do that part. And so we're on our way, and yeah, it'll be exciting when we get it. We're breaking ground September 3rd, so we're getting there.
That goes back to your question where you were asking how do you meet that deficit in terms of going to the underserved neighborhoods. It is definitely going to require private and public partnership to come up now, more so than ever before in the past. So if any of you have any connections to sponsors, partners that can lend themselves to underserved neighborhoods, and more importantly, we don't want to hear this, but charity begins at home. Now I'm still back when I say that, and I say that in all honesty because if we want to see something take place in our neighborhoods, then we have to be the person. Look in the mirror, and it starts with me. If no more than making a phone call, if no more than taking care of what's around your immediate area. And I guarantee you, if you started, they'll help you finish it, okay? But we have to take the initiative. And I just want to say that because it can't all be on the city. And I'm not just saying that for the city of Dallas, I'm saying for any city. We all play a part wherever we live. So let's just remember that, be mindful of that. And Mr. Ahmad, this is just a thank you for coming with us today. And so at this time, it wasn't on the agenda, but it's such a great cause that I'd like to bring up our youth director, Miss Linda Lydia. She's working on a project with her youth. And we're going to hear from her about her youth project. Linda Lydia.
couldn't vote. And we sort of take responsibility for it because we have a culture history of what people went through to get the right to vote. Color. And so this came as a brainstorm. I was at the one at Craft House this past weekend during swearing-in ceremonies and scholarship awards for our youth council. Mrs. Craft Youth Council is the youth council that I now am the youth advisor for. And her accomplishments during her tenure were just so incredible. Not only was she the first black woman to vote in Dallas, she was the first black woman who was given the right to sell poll taxes. People of color had to pay $1.75. This is the poll tax receipt that she paid just to vote. I was over at the Nelson Mandela exhibit over in Fair Park at the African American Museum. If you haven't gone, you should go. The lines that stretched for miles and miles and miles of people when they finally got the right to vote. We have got to make sure that in November we get people out to vote. And the only way we're going to do that is we can register and then we can go vote. We are going to be doing voter registration by youth council throughout the city. We're actually working in rodeo this weekend. And we would really appreciate the purchase of our poll tax shirts, because these shirts are going towards scholarships. We give scholarships away for our youth every year, and it's very important that we advance our educational needs. So this is what this poll tax is, a receipt that you will get, and it is tax deductible, because we are a nonprofit, for sure. Okay? She was 1945 is what the shirt says. Come back to my table, take a look at it. You can buy one if you want to, or you can just get some information on it. I just like us to spread the word that this is a critical year for us to do our work. And the best way I can do it is make this Thank you.
Is there any other news that we can use within this audience this afternoon? Does anyone else have any good in welfare? Well, I guess hearing none, that means there is none. And so this is going to probably be a first. It's now 7:48, 10 minutes till. See, some of you can appreciate that. We normally do not know what it is to leave here before 8 o'clock. But it is 10 minutes till. And I really want you guys to think serious about what Ms. Linda Lydia just said. We've taken voting for granted, and time is out for that. We can no longer afford to sit at home on the couch or act like voting is something like a Victoria's Secret. Someone gave their lives so that we could have the opportunity. Someone walked 6 miles one way to vote, just to be told you're at the wrong place. And then he had to turn around and walk another 8 miles, just to be told he was at the wrong place. You're supposed to be over there. And then when he finally makes it to the third stop, they says to him, "I'm sorry, sir, we're just finishing up. We closed. You should have been here 2 minutes earlier, and then you could have voted." When he was at the right place the first time. Hear what I'm saying to you. Inconveniences. I need each and every one of you, as a registered voter, to check your voter registration monthly. You might ought to do it weekly, because they are removing us from the voting register. You will also begin to receive, if you haven't already, you begin receiving correspondence through email, maybe even mail now, wherein they say, "We've noted that you haven't voted since the 2016, and you know you've been voted in every election since 2016. All I'm saying is, let's don't fall for the okie doke. It's time to be serious. If you guys haven't been serious, and or you have people in your household who are eligible to vote if they were to take time out to register, I need each one of you to take it serious. Everyone that's going to be 18 now, within a few months, need to be registered, and he or she need to vote. And when your students, your babies come home, make sure they vote here, because they will receive challenges when they try and vote at the universities or the colleges. Just word, food for thought, something to think about. And if we can plant those seeds today, tomorrow again be different. But if it's to be, I want each of you to say in the morning when you look in that mirror, or this evening when you go home, I want you to say, if it is to be, it's up to me. Because each one of us play and can play a very pivotal role in the upcoming election. Whether that's a phone call, that's a knock on the door, or that's a registration. We each can do something, and let's do the something that we can do to make a difference. And I'll leave you with the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. If you can run, run. But if you can't run, you walk. And if you can't walk, you crawl. So again, if you can't walk, you call, but do something to make a difference this November. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here this evening. Appreciate you taking out the time, because we know you could have been somewhere else, but stay tuned to your emails, because we are in the process of mobilizing and organizing, and it is time for GOTV. Get out the vote. You all will stand. We'll have a final word of prayer. I think Mr. Ben Brown is with us. Speaker Brown, would you mind praying us out? And once again, thank you, Mr. Goree, for taking time to be here this evening. We know you guys don't get paid for after 5, but we appreciate it. Know that we're paying you a thank you, okay? All right, Brother Ben.
Dear Lord, we thank you for all that came out tonight. We thank you for the information that was shared. We thank you for productivity that these meetings seem to bring about. We ask you to continue helping us, and we look forward to Jesus' name. Amen.